I know that when I am in an environment like this, where I have committed my time to me, my focus to me, that I notice there is a sense of withdraw, like I want to withdraw and I almost want to be more selfish. I want to be more private and hold that space for myself. So I understand that and I can relate to it. But at the same time, in my experience, what we are talking about is not something that I can intellectually talk about and make sense of. It is something that I feel in my heart. And in my heart, I know in my experience that when I am connected to my source and my ego is no longer running the show, when I am in the zone, when I am aligned, the more I extend, the more I gain. The more I share, the more I love. And I just have this endless desire to do it. And the more I do it, the more joy it gives me. And when I am not, and I am in my head, there are millions of reasons when I'm not connected, millions of reasons why I shouldn't look at that person or should avoid this person or shouldn't pay attention to that one or this one or say this or not say this or act like I'm connected or act like I'm not. No matter what I do, if there is any giving or sharing involved, I would feel that I am giving something that I don't have, that I don't want to give it. So this is for my sake that I am sharing this with you. I want to be clear. When I am connected, I only want to share and extend because it just gives me 100 times back. And I am here with you because you bring that out of me. You walk me closer to that path. You take me right there. So I don't understand that how I can be connecting to that oneness, to that joy, and at the same time be sitting here talking about holding back. It's too much contradiction. I can't put the two together. Which one is real? There are not million truths. There is only one truth. There are millions of perceptions, but there is only one truth. So what truth are we talking about? What is the truth here? Could you please expand on that? I want to be really clear that I am crazy or what I'm hearing is not making sense to me. Thank you.
It's already making sense to you. It's already making a lot of sense to you, just hearing you speak. Maybe, who knows, that's what Rumi meant, that to take the thorn out, another thorn is required. Thorn is needed to take thorn out. Other than that, yes, there are many different relative truths, and they are applicable to each and every one depending where they are and where their needs are. And yes, there is an ultimate truth. But that ultimate truth cannot be spoken here as a measure of expectation of how another person is to act. Because everyone, one way or the other, acts at the capacity, at a given capacity of their being. So, it's not that you're going crazy, and it's not that what we spoke earlier somehow contradictory, or in contradiction to why you're here. But if it brings out these strong emotions in you, that in itself is a telling sign. Sometimes boundaries are needed for the one who have thin boundaries and feel completely all the time invaded. And in spiritual work, it would sound again crazy and contradictory. One has to be selfish in order to forego selfishness, greater selfishness. Otherwise, we will never be able to do spiritual work. And we will also encounter a lot of counter-arguments where we'll be confronted with the view that spiritual work is an indulgence. How can we, why are we doing this, like this workshop? Why don't we make a workshop next time and kind of hire a big kitchen and boil and cut vegetables and like make soup and then start distributing them? I'm sure people would love to eat who don't have money. There are a lot of things we can do, right, that would make us feel good about ourselves and useful. And that doesn't also devalues this need for this work. But if you are not ready to truly face that, what would at some point be a challenge to, how can one give oneself to spiritual work, which requires commitment, time, and everything that goes into any kind of work when one wants to achieve and one wants to accomplish. How can that be a valid way of being when there's so many people suffering, in pain, hungry, and so forth? So therefore we speak about this as well. We speak about the need for boundaries. And we speak about the need to understand that we need to do whatever we do with as much awareness here, with as much consciousness as we have mastered. So we don't do things on autopilot. So we don't go around the circles and we don't go around don't just act out of the grooves. And just as that perspective is valid, the perspective of holding the boundaries becomes completely in opposition to our well-being, which becomes a contradiction in itself. When these boundaries are becoming confinements to our freedom, to the capacity of our heart to experience this all-embracing feeling of connectedness. We're afraid of intimacy, any form of intimacy, because intimacy is at the expense of laying down these boundaries. Or we demand that intimacy should be the way we feel the intimacy should be. And then we turn it into another form of prison. But there's, if we are truly to look at it for what it is, there's no difference between freedom or living life in freedom and living life intimately with everything. That what we call life is that experience of beauty, because that's what it is. There's no way to experience beauty unless we lay down the boundaries, because the experience of beauty is when we no longer perceive separation between that what we perceive. In that moment, beauty opens up to us in all its glory. It could be a painful experience if we're not prepared. But one way or the other, it's at the expense of here and there. It's where the subject and object are reconciled. And what does it mean if we don't speak about it in this dry manner? But if we are to speak about it in what it truly represents, it means we become intimate with everything we behold. And what that in turn truly represents, and what it in turn means, is that what we perceive is nothing other than our own self in the form of the other, whatever that other is, whoever that other is. We don't perceive anyone else. So sometimes we don't want to perceive the other simply because we don't want to behold ourselves fully. We only want a fragmented picture. we somehow feel it is safer. That's why the vision of sages and vision of poets and vision of artists, it's a rapturous vision. It's an ecstatic vision. Because it's the vision which is deeply intimate. And it's a courageous vision as well. Because one is no longer afraid to behold oneself in totality, in fullness. One asks for it. One wants to be ravished by this experience. We don't want to hold back.